buenas. Tienes salud, dinero y libertad. La angustia que sientes no sirve para nada. Oye, tienes que cambiar. Lucha porque no es tan mal. Risa porque la vida te da. La angustia que sientes no sirve para nada.
Check, check, check. Is this thing on? Shout out to everybody here with a live. Good thing you check. You know, I've done whole shows with a mic. Not even on, man. No, not whole shows, but like 10 minutes straight. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in on this beautiful, beautiful Monday. God bless each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Welcome to the Crypto Lifer Show. Baby, let's go, baby. I'm feeling it. It's amazing. We have a whole week of trading ahead. We have so much to talk about. We have Waller talking from the Fed Reserve. We have a lot coming our way. Again, this show is not financial advice. Nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Learn how to trade any market in the world here with the Crypto Lifer. Learn the strategies, tips, and tricks I picked up in my 20 years of trading long-term, short-term, 1-minute time frames. I've traded the New York Stock Exchange, the Toronto Stock Exchange. I've traded crypto, derivatives, futures, leverage, okay? Meme coins, little coins, big coins, swing trades, little trades, spot trades. I swing spot. I trade Lev on the 1 minute. I hold for years for Bitcoin. I do dollar cost averaging on Bitcoin on the larger time frames. We really do it all here. And I look for all coins that I can swing trade if there's an opportunity to be had. So jump on in if you like this type of trading, if you like this type of lifestyle. Jump on in. I was looking at this morning. It's gone. You got to know what that is. Jump on into the trading group. Looking at this too. We want to see it stay, though, inside of the projection. We'll teach you what that means later on. Had a little bit of a scalp cooking right now. It started to pump. We were up nicely as I started the stream. Had to go upstairs, get something ready, put a tie on. As I was putting the tie on, those 2-3 minutes there, or 9 minutes, or whatever it took, of that update, we did get pummeled to the downside. I put the stop right to break even. I already scalped once for like 180. I'm attempting to take another one here. I'm still inside the world coin trade. I'm looking for $3,000. I'm holding for $3,000. It's taken way longer. I thought I'd have $3,000 way before this. But hey, sometimes trades, you know, I want to teach you. Sometimes you got to trade it, hold the trade longer than you thought. If you want the big payday, you got to hold the trade. So it is what it is. We'll see where this goes. This Bitcoin trade looks like they're going to come get me. I'm barely in, profit, but I'm at least taking care of the fees for a break-even move there for Bitcoin. But look, they pumped and dumped us all morning, really. There was a pump and dump here, a crazy one. They ripped it and dipped it. And then I decided, they'll probably pump it again. And they did. Now they're dumping it again. This is crazy. False Move Monday on top of False Move Monday. However, have you taken the original call that I teach? And right here, we crossed the 200 moving average on the 1 minute time frame around 7 to 7:30 in the morning. That's when you want to look for that sweet spot. And bang. And then even that, if you miss that, you wait for the consolidation of the ascending triangle. You get in right here, 21 above the 200, and you humbly sell when you get away from the 21 and you get a day's pay. You go for a day's pay, $500 to $1,000. These two trades would have played out, or the whole trade and then even this trade here after the dolphin dip to the upside. I still may get paid here. They're getting close to my stop, but there's a chance I stay in. I'm going to take a look at the bigger time frames as we kind of get away. Live trading here on WEEX. If you want to trade with me on WEEX, there's a link in the pinned comment. If I can dig that thing up and find it amongst all my layers and layers of tabulations. No, but seriously, right there's the pinned comment, and you can sign up to WEEX or go to cryptolifer.com, which is just as attractive. No, but both places are amazing. Cryptolifer.com, where you can learn how to trade with the link that you sign up to WEEX. You need both. You can't really do anything without one of them. You know what I mean? We got to trade. We have the trading group. You need a place to trade. WEEX is the place. Swing trade, DCA into Bitcoin. We got into SPCX early and still actually have our allocation, which is interesting. So there you go. I'm looking for Bitcoin to come back to the 21 on the 1 hour time frame. A little overbought there. That's why I'm protecting the purse. I was surprised that we got the pump on the 1 minute. I took it just in case, but when you pump this far, look, 3 beautiful green candles in a row. And that's 3 white soldiers. You'd think we would get a continuation there. But we're too far for the 21-day moving average. Very oversold in the stochastics. Came up on the RSI from the low to high. Technically, it was a pump from 63,000 all the way back to 65. And it was kind of strange. Last night I said, watch your 15-minute time frame and to flag it out, right? I was looking for something more like this. Looks like they dipped it, but if you stuck with it, you could see that it eventually did stay with a flag here. And as it got real tight and the stochastic started to turn, with the 21 above the 200, we got the beautiful pump to the upside. And so my strategy is right there for you. And this is why I do it. This is why I teach it. This is why I go over it, because it does the same thing time and time again. And here it is doing it yet again here to the upside for Bitcoin. So, and you never know. We might actually make another flag here on the 15-minute time frame. There's no guarantees to price action. That's why you said, even after years of me doing this, I still set up probabilities. If I knew it was going to happen every single day for a fact, it seems like it. How you know what I mean? We hit a lot on the channel, but we'll see. So they did ping me. They pinged me right there too. Is that crazy? Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, because I was higher. Yeah. Still up 755, 300% on $250. Only cost $5. We'll see where this goes. I'll see if there's a trade for Bitcoin. You never know. All right. But right now, it looks like the frenzy stopped and the trade will come in about 8 hours. That's what I'm looking for. We got an earlier move. Going to slap into the NASDAQ for you, too, and show you kind of what's happening there and break that down for you. All right. First thing I'm going to do is jump on out of here and do what's called a top-down analysis. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. And I look at the monthly every single day. I think it's very important. Let's look at our monthly support and resistance. Let's talk about what we see, what patterns could be arising, and what probabilities are in front of us. So we clearly have support at 58,674. We have a candle bodies that closed there. We whipped to this area twice, bounced off it pretty much. Didn't really get even to that area. We front ran the exact area of support. We got pretty close to it 2 times now. So it tells us this is a good support zone. Then we look for what is our next area of resistance. And it's where these 2 candle bodies, that's like a prominent area where we poked out, couldn't get back above. And you hover on that candle, it's 71,280. Remember how much I talked about it? For a long time, I said if long as we stay above it, I'm bullish. If we break back below it, we can start talking about lower lows, right? We did close a candle below it on the monthly. We may. All right, we're getting very close to the end of June here, though, which is crazy how fast June has flown by. One of the fastest Junes I've ever seen in my entire life. Absolutely absurd if you think about it. So we're going to look for this tightness, right? And we're going to look for this flag to kind of start to get tight. And to me, we're either in for a massive dump for Bitcoin, where a lot of people are starting to lose faith in BTC, like, you know what I mean? And like, even just if you're just somewhat nice about it, it's 24,000. And that is a shoulder, head, right shoulder. I have to bring it up. I can't say my mind doesn't see it. I like to show you everything I see. See, this show isn't about me being right or wrong. It's about my brain seeing something and just showing you what I see. That's all. You know what I mean? And you guys take it from there. Shout out to everybody. Let's get the likes up to the watchers. Let's boom this back to our original viewership. It is the summer. It's the first day of summer. A lot of people are out of school getting like that, but we still have work to do. There could be an AI coin attached to an agent that turns into something huge. 20X's, 30X's. There's still money to be made out here. So the monthly looking very tight, oversold. You know what I'm saying? Halfway through the bear market, oversold on the monthly. I mean, how much longer can you go? Even if we go lower, 52, 53,000, suggesting that Bitcoin's in a pretty good place. When you kind of go over the idea of where the bottom could be. The indicators I use tell me the bottom was in at that 59, 60K level because we went to 5 twice when the stochastics RSI were low on the 2-week chart. And every time I've been in a single-digit fear number, when that has happened, it's been an amazing move to the upside. So I got to be honest with everybody here. My indicators told me that I had to buy big at both these wicks and act like it was the absolute bottom. So if it was or wasn't, we'll find out. But, the way I trade said I had to do it. I didn't have a choice but to double down. So I did what I had to do. Okay, so there we have it. So my prediction, which doesn't matter, right? Because I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance. But my prediction is this will close red, similar to where we are here, anywhere between 61 and here now. It's just kind of like chopping around towards the end. Like this candle's kind of found its bottom. It's going to take 8 days to just hang out, right? And then we're going to get a green, a dump, and a green and a little wick, and then we're going to kind of slowly pump up. It's going to be a choppy, ugly July because we have we can only go up about $10,000. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to take the whole month to kind of almost get there, come back down, go up. And I just feel like we're going to chop around and create a pretty weird indecision doji candle in the month of July inside of here, which will act somewhat like and then we'll kind of get a pump a little bit into August, make people think something's happening, which will revert into a dump late August into September. September will be a nasty, nasty month like it always is. We'll dump, maybe even almost come back in, October will be choppy, but it will be the right shoulder. So we'll get the shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, right? But it will be an indecision. And then in November, we get the green candle, December, and we actually start to break out of an inverted head and shoulder. And we learn that is the higher low. At this point, everyone realizes Bitcoin has bottomed for sure. And we're on our way back to the upside. Okay. That to me is the most likely scenario of what I'm looking for. And so we buy any time there's heavy fear and we get a massive dump because we may never get a chance again. Okay, now let's go over the other scenario. This is definitely a head and shoulder. Our next candle breaks below. We close below the weekly 200 moving average. Okay, which is going to be a sign that we're going to go to the 2-week 200. Which will then, and then they're going to kind of move up which will tell me we're headed somewhere towards $48,000 to $47,000, right? Again, we can't have a green candle. This would have to turn red and start to dump. Looks like it could be somewhat of a head and shoulder pattern. Not amazing. All right. They wicked that to the 200, but it didn't lose the 200 on the 1 minute just yet. Right. But we'll see. I got stopped out a little bit of a break even there on the second scalp attempt. And honestly, not even, scalping. I got better at not losing money on the really high-risk days. Now on high-risk days, I usually just get stopped out for little or no money. It's just awesome, man. Defensive trading to me is the best. So anyway, we got to lose the 2-week on the weekly. I'll tell you, and we'll be on it because I do this every day, twice a day. We won't miss it for you. I'll be able to see something, and I'll be able to say something. Stochastics RSI look like they're going for a higher low here on that weekly. And honestly, that's a weekly bullish divergence. Look at it. That's bullish divergence on the weekly. You only get that once every 5 years. It's very rare. Last time we got it was right here. And it marked the bottom for Bitcoin. And it's funny, the weekly was such a big time frame to me back here in 2022, 4 years ago, because I had only been in Bitcoin for, 5 years at that point. You know, I didn't have that much time. Now I'm almost 10 years in the game. Yeah, I started trading altcoins in 2016. I've been in cryptocurrency for 10 years. So insane. Met a guy in the street that told me about CoinMarketCap. He said, hey, look at all these tokens and coins. I said, what the heck is this? I said, what is CoinMarket? Like, what the? You know what I mean? I only knew about stocks, going to stock twits, you know, looking at the next stocks, going to stock boards. And I'm like, CoinMarketCap? What the? I had no idea what he was talking about. No, seriously, I was selling drones in the street of New York. I had a little drone business. I had rode my motorcycle around. I like the number 333. Crazy story real fast if I can slide this in. I like the number 333. I'm riding my motorcycle around on a Sunday afternoon. My wife is Afghan. She was going to her family to do some family. You know, the women hang out, and it's not really a place for a man. So she hung out with, you know, and I had the day to myself. It happened like once every happened like twice or 2 or 3 times a month. My wife would do her Afghan thing, and I'd have a moment to myself. So I jumped on my motorcycle, drove around Brooklyn, just looking for a sign, looking for something. Was aimless. Didn't have any plan that day. Didn't have anywhere to go. Didn't have anything to, you know, really set up. And I saw the number 333, 1333 Broadway in Brooklyn. And I walked in, and it was a warehouse. I just was like, I need to go into that building. I don't know what is in there, but I got to go in there. That's what I said to myself. True story. I walk in the building, little Asian dude named Jin, and he's sitting there flying a C-10 Cheerson. All right, a C-10 Cheerson is this tiny little mini drone. It's an orange little bit. This one right here, right? Orange. Like Bitcoin. Funny, right? It was orange. It led me to Bitcoin. How crazy. I never thought about that. So he's flying this thing around the store. Now, I try to fly it. It's really hard. And so I buy 2 of them. They're like $20 a pop. I buy $40. I go home. And these little things break a few times. Me trying to move them around, they break. They end up breaking. And I keep trying to fly them, and they keep breaking. So I learned to put 4 pillows on the ground. I order a bunch of these propellers from like they have an OEM gets them. So now it doesn't matter. And I sit there and work on these things. And I eventually hover it a little bit, then a bit more. And the next thing you know, I'm flying around the apartment. Next thing you know, I go back and I hang out with the Asian guy, and I'm whipping this thing with him. We even get the outside guard there to keep it even better so they would last longer. These things last maybe a couple months if you really ride them hard, you know what I mean? But and so then eventually I started selling them. I started buying them in bulk and selling them in the street. No, seriously. And I'd be sitting there, it's funny, we can archive a picture of me on iCloud. I'll look up if I can find it. But I'd be sitting there selling the drones on the streets. And I turned it into a business and a YouTube channel, and I called it Remote Chief. And that was kind of like the first thing I started doing online. The Cheerson CX10. Anyway, that led me to a guy who walked by wearing a Bitcoin shirt. We started talking. I said, I think I know what that is, that shirt. And he said, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And next thing you know, he told me he was one of the people that helped make Ethereum. And he showed me CoinMarketCap, and he told me about cryptocurrency. And that's where I began. You know, it's funny because I read about an entrepreneur, and he said I started selling... he said he started selling, let's just say, data systems or something, backup data systems. Next thing, the person said they needed like a fiber optics, server. He's like, I didn't do that, but I knew a buddy that may have, I reached out to him, and we split the price, and he installed it with me, and I said I could do it. He's like, next thing you know, my company became installed. He's like, 10 years later, we were the biggest fiber optic installer in the, you know what I mean? And what he meant to, and what he told me about how I read about it, he said, I started selling green dots, but I ended up, my big business was blue dots. I never knew I was going to go to blue dots. He's like, but if I didn't sell green dots, and what he meant was start a business, start anything, like just entrepreneur, man. T-shirts, boxes that one guy, Tim Ferriss, the 4-Hour Workweek, the guy sold boxes. Okay. So you got to just start, have to start some type of business. Anyway, any type of business, but you got to have a business. Anyway, so off the 200 moving average, that's bullish divergence on the weekly. That's 90% of the time. That's going to be your bottom. 90% of the time. with accuracy, very off the 200 moving average too. After a bigger pump up than we thought, means the bear market wouldn't go as low as previous is all. You know what I mean? It's kind of that idea. Again, I'm open-minded. We do go to the 786. And if we put up the top to the bottom here, that sends us to this, to 38,000. I'm open-minded. We could go there. I have cash for that. I would love to buy $39,000, $40,000 Bitcoin. The people that wait for the best prices usually never get them. The people that just DCA and keep their head up get rewarded. That's the Bitcoin story. The people that know their TA and know the extended areas and begin to buy. If you start buying around now, it's a blessing. Shout out to everyone that just jumped on into cryptocurrency in the last few weeks. My channel should be booming. Our numbers are going up. I do see it. More people are showing up. More people are going. It's been actually a really good time. Because, hey, people that either got in here or were afraid to get in here because they looked at, some people had common sense. They're like, that's just, I didn't get in at the bottom. Well, let me teach you something about moving averages. You get a huge pump. The 21 gets pulled away from the 200. This is the 200. This is the 21. The white is the 21. The 200 is yellow. And then what happens is you get a bear market. 21 usually will get pulled near or close to the 200. If it's really bearish, the 21 will go below. Very rare. If it does, that's a beautiful buy. So it's a beautiful sell if you're away from the 21 and the 21's away from the 200. It's a beautiful buy. So it's a beautiful sell if you're away from the 21 and the 21's very far from the 200. It's a beautiful buy when you're away from the 21 and you're below the 200. The 21 and the 200 will tell you where to buy in big time frames. They'll tell you where to sell in small time frames. They'll tell you how to get in, how to get out. We did lose the 21-day moving average, the 200 there on the 1 minute. Sketchy business there, but we may pop back up and show the model. We'll see how this goes. We're not done with the top 10 analysis here. We're going to really work this chart until it gives us something. There's going to be information here, but we got to work on it. We can't just sit back and expect it to come to us. We got to work our subconscious mind every day until our mind picks up on nuances, differences, changes, candle bodies. And we start to learn. The learning comes from the process. It's not the other way around. You don't get paid because you sit there every day. You get paid because you work the charts. I used to actually chart, but I wasn't really getting anywhere in trading because I can't explain. I was just touching the buttons. I wasn't back testing. I wasn't you got to be inside of this stuff. You do have to be thinking about this while you're eating sandwich, while you're cutting your sandwich. That looks like a double bottom, whatever it is, but. So there's a couple ideas. People are saying, well, I see a head and shoulders, Sam. This is bearish to me, and we're going lower. And this is a lower low, and we're going to collapse out this falling wedge is actually going to dump. If it does, it would take us down like the length here. That would basically be about, and crazy enough, that does say about 39, 37,000, and there's a block there at 30K. You get the 38, could we get to 30,000? I mean, a lot of people right now, when I say could we get, they just laugh. They might even turn off the channel. They might go, this guy's out of his mind. I just tell you what, in my lifetime of trading, I thought things were for sure a certain way. Bitcoin definitely isn't going to go to this area. I thought Bitcoin would never go below 90K again. After we went to 120, never below 80,000 again. Never see Bitcoin below 80K again. Lo and behold, Bitcoin's below 80K again. You know what I mean? It happens, man. So price action can do anything it previously has done. And times 10. You never actually know what price action could do. It could, at any moment in time, it can do it. That's what I've learned. That's the tough realization of price action. Who knows? So I gave up saying, no, you know what? There's no way it could go to 10K. There's no way it could go to 300. It could go to 10,000, man. I'm so open-minded. I speculated on a brand new tech. It's been going well for the last 15 years. We'll see what happens. It's an experiment for sure. No one's ever done this before. No one's ever made a Bitcoin before and released it into the billions of humans and forced it onto the financial system where they have to bend the knee. Like something that came out of the piracy of the internet, of the deep internet, is now being bought by Larry Fink and BlackRock. That's actually insane when you think about it. If someone wrote that book in 1975, they'd tell you you're out of your mind. But that's the story now. That's reality. Reality is now, insane. So anyway, that's a strong, I don't know why that happens. That's a strong bullish divergence there. with the curve up on the stochastics RSI, bouncing off the 200 moving average. I guess I lose air and I'm just like, when you talk as much as me, I guess something strange will happen. Thank you, team, for the new coffee. It's amazing. So this looks interesting to me, like we could get a beautiful bounce here back to the upside, and we're holding the 200 moving average. I don't love that we had no wick there. That's very odd. You see what I'm saying? Like, none. Like, I'm going to zoom in as deep as I can. There's nothing. We just opened right. So we started pumping, and then we opened and just continued to pump. It was almost, it's because we started pumping with the war news, and this candle just picked up right on it. It's just, I tell you what, man, candles that do that. We saw this before. We had a beautiful green. I think one of these was like started beautifully green and was just ripping and was like, wow, we reversed. Everything looks great. We had a huge wick with a green. And just no, like, look at this one. It was, you know, we were up there just. This one here, too, was green pumping. It had the huge wick and pumped up green. It looked like we were just on our way. And no. So I get very wary when I see a candle without a wick. Just, I do like what I'm seeing here on the stochastics RSI. I do like what I'm seeing on the RSI. Also, I like to look at this as the impulse, this wick here, because we really started to take off. And I pulled that up, and I mean, that's a fib down to the 886 retracement. So Bitcoin's done some good retracing after a massive pump, right? And I'm okay if we do go back down there to this $38,000, $40,000 level. I don't think we go any lower than that, but you never know. I'm open-minded. So right now, after all the things I told you, you have to assume. So this, as a trader, you build up everything you can. So I just showed you all the different things that kind of push me towards bullishness. But then I have to assume, look, low, lower high, lower low. I have to assume we're going to make a lower low and continue lower. So right now, the trend on the bigger time frame is still low. Now, it doesn't mean it can't change slowly. So what happens is the trend changes slowly. 1 minute, 5 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour. Then it blends in. Next thing you know, you got to flip. If you're good at what you do, you can see the trend change on the smaller time frames before the bigger ones. Now, how do you know it's not a fake out? You don't. But what you do is you always track the small time frames into the bigger ones. Always track them small into the bigger ones. And what I do is I swing trade and just keep taking scalps on the little ones. Eventually, one of the little ones will turn into a bigger reversal, and one of the little trades I'm in turns into a bigger trade. What I also do is when I see the tweezer bottoms, as I'm making these scalps, you know, I'm front running. You guys see me. I put a trade in right now. I'm on the weekly right now with a stop below these wicks. I've been in the trade now for 2 weeks. We'll see where it goes. You know, it could end up being the greatest bottom call. Just like I traded the monthly. It didn't work out, but I'll do it again. If I keep showing up to a tweezer bottom on the weekly, I'm eventually going to catch a beautiful bottom. We caught this one. You know what I mean? So, and I've learned that's a great strategy because you lose less when you get stopped out because you get to get very close to the wick. And when you make it, you get a huge payday because you get a nice bottom, you know? So anyway, and you can figure that out for yourself. Like, you can do the math over time. And if you like that trading style, you'll decide if it works for you. You got to do the math because you got to put in the work. If you put in the work, the trading style will teach you that it works. If you shy away, then, you know, it is what it is. So it's up to you to kind of keep moving with it. But the more you give to trading, the more trading will give to you. That's what I keep learning. That's what I found out about trading. You know, I shied away at one point because I knew it was going to be hard work. I was sitting alone one day and I was like, man, I have to back test everything I learn. And if I don't back test it and do it, I'm just going to keep losing. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And I would just go open up a trade again. Next thing it would be down. Open up a trade again. And sometimes I win, but it was just like there was no, and I refused. I was like, no, what do you mean? And I was like, eventually my mind said, if you don't learn a strategy, you can't hang out with the big, you know, you can't hang. You're not going to be able to play in this game. It's not going to be for you. Pretty sad, really. Like, it's trading is not sad, but trading really gives it to you. Everything else, you can try to wiggle your way around the reality, but trading says, no. Either you stick to the proper rate or you just keep losing money until you don't have any left. And it either bleeds you dry, right? And everyone wants to point fingers at everybody else when they go down the tubes. If you keep blaming everyone else, including me or whoever you want, when you lose money, okay, you got to start asking yourself why you're not taking responsibility for your own loss. You see what I mean? Because every day you give away your loss, you also give away your wins. No, seriously. Like, that's very insightful what I just said. When you own your losses, you can own your wins. All right? Look, this still could look like a bear flag on the 3-day chart, right? We're not out the water yet, folks. For sure. Like, it could also be a double ball, a cup and handle pump. That's why I took the weekly long. You get it? The more I zoom out, the more I could take advantage of the charts. Look, this kind of has a bullish divergence there. That's a green R, not a red one. So there's a bull dividend. It's like an inverted head and shoulder. It's weird, but it's telling us that higher low should hang and we should pump. Today we'll close a bullish engulfing candle. I feel like we were in this kind of weird wick. We went down, came back up, and I'm weary of it not having a wick. I have to be honest, but we'll see. The 3-day chart has the wick. That's the one, remember, we went over last night. So it could save us back to the 21, but it even looks head and shouldery, right? Like shoulder, head. This might just be the right shoulder here. I still have some mixed signals. It's not amazing. But I've been a little stubbornly more bullish. Number one, I have a little more bullish bias. So in general, if it's 55, 45, I'm always going to be a little more bullish. So we're looking for chop today, just back to the top of the range, really. 4-hour time frame looks bullish. I see the 4-hour headed to that 200 moving average. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. So here we stand, So we're in this kind of choppy range. This kind of looks like what's going on here. That you never ask if I'm happy or sad. So look, can this come back down? It's such a sad song, right? Oh my gosh. You never ask if I'm happy or sad. You don't care about me no more. You never did and you never will. All you do is trade. Stare at that screen all day. How many girls have said that to a guy? Or maybe guys to a girl. All you do is look at those screens all day and talk to your friends on Discord. You don't even need me. You don't even need me. You and your life are friends. You don't even love me anymore. All you do is love that guy on that you watch him every day. That guy Sam. You love him. I know it. You love him, don't you? You love him more than me. Dude, we're coming back to the 21 on that 1-hour time frame, which was just going to happen. That's kind of what we were seeing. That was what was going to, you know what I mean? You pump that hard away for the 21. My strategy says you're coming back to the 21. Beautiful short, right back down. Yes. Teaches you how to short too. Yeah, when you're far for the 21, you can short that. You could have front-run that tweezer top the second it happened, right? My first business was candy vending. It morphed into video game resale almost 30 years ago. Now I have run a successful eBay store for 26 years. So I concur. Start something. See that? Look at that. Yeah, it all leads to something else. Like only, even last night when you were starting to get about I was looking at your results. Worked out well. My first business was candy vending. Yeah, small time frames. My best friend on Discord, you're funny. Dang, sounds like you hear that at home. You're no. All you see is candles and wicks. You don't love me. No, I don't. My wife loves when I'm in the charts. The charts have helped her too much, a little too much. I mean, that's a bullish, bearish engulfing candle there on the 1-hour time frame, but that's okay. Let it do its thing. We're looking for consolidation here. Second day of summer. Beautiful day to be alive. My parents asked once they were an announcer guy. I listened to them. Both my brothers know who you are by the voice, huh? I listen regardless if I'm by myself or visiting family. Shout out to the Greek jelly. The Greek jelly, man. God bless you, man. Thank you. I was only 0.1% away from getting liquidated at 65 cents. Closed it, took the loss, and now it dumps. Markets. Amazing. Oh, but you were on a short? Yeah. Let me say that you're welcome to Sarasota, Florida, anytime, my friend, but I want to see you ball. No joke. You're welcome to stay with me. Funny. You guys enjoying the stream? Show your appreciation and hit that like button. SpaceX not looking too good. That's a good sign. That's why I didn't buy a lot of SpaceX. You know what I mean? The company, I watched a guy who was a big stock guy, and he'd been picking stocks for a long time. He said, here's my track record. Here's what I've done. And he said, this is why I'm not buying any SpaceX. And he said, number one, the company's not profitable. Hasn't turned a profit. You know what I mean? And he says, number two, I see it as a debt transition into the Tesla holders. They want to merge the stock and give debt to people that already hold the stock and hold more debt. That's what he said. I'm not saying that I don't believe that. I'm just telling you this is what he said. He said, I'm not going to get involved in debt maturation product and chase in on and then he's like, and there's a lot of people that have got in at 130 and they're middle class people that might become millionaires for the first time in their life, and they're going to take a chance to sell on that on any on 180, 185, 190, 212, 220. You know what I mean? So Scottish Crypto says he's shorting SpaceX. Folded XAI and X Twitter both falling. Yeah, we'll take a look at SpaceX for you in a second. Let's jump on into the NASDAQ. See what's happened to the NQ. So we got a pump this morning, followed by a dump this morning. Everything kind of on shaky ground. Back and forth on what's happening, it seems, with Iran, right? It's like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Are we getting it? Are we not getting it? Peace or no peace? There's constant back and forth. It's like, are we open or closed over here? And, it's so tentative because every time, no one believes it anymore either. It's becoming the boy who cried wolf. You know the story of the boy who cried wolf? It's a little boy who swears he's outside. I don't know the exact story. I'm going to paraphrase it, And most of you know the story, but some of you might not. And he's outside. There's a wolf. And so his dad comes out. His mom comes out. Says, there's no wolf. Nothing there. He's just messing around. A couple of days later, there's a wolf. There's nothing there. He does it 3 or 4 times. The 5th time, there's actually a wolf. He screams, there's a wolf. No one comes. He gets eaten alive. It's funny. It's not even funny. It's a sad story. May even be true. Castlevania stuff. But Transylvania, yeah. But the whole point of this is, you don't keep saying something. You don't keep doing something over and over again. People stop listening. People don't hear you anymore. And, what it does do to the market, though, it puts it in unease. The market likes to hear things. The market likes to have a know-how. And when you don't give the market anything to go on, traders, market meaning traders, they're going to speculate less. And they're going to be, So we're looking for a bounce here on the 15-minute 200 moving average. I'm expecting a bounce here for the NASDAQ back to the upside. Seems like we got some good news. Pump last night into the morning, which with those green candles created a lot of retail traders to flock into the market. They now want to flush those retailers on a beautiful Falls Move Monday, get ourselves back into position, and probably throughout the day kind of get ourselves squared away for the Monday night pump. We pump on Monday night, I'd say 80% of the time. I love trading Monday nights, Tuesday nights, and Wednesday nights. I just gave away something I should never have told you because it's absolutely beautiful. Stopping trading on most times and only trading like Tuesdays and Wednesdays between 10 a.m., 7:30 and 12. And then, you could trade almost all day Tuesday, Wednesday if you get the move. They can be great days. I've had Tuesdays and Wednesdays that just never stop. And I've gotten just pumps that come out of nowhere on anywhere, Thursday afternoon to Friday, Saturday. But for the most part, a real move, a real TA, tracking it, watching it, volume, price action. That's Monday night into Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon. Thursday after 2, price action gets tight. Monday is the day where they figure out who's who, and they flush the markets by Monday night. You get your direction. You start trading the right direction Monday night. I can't tell you how many Tuesday mornings I've woken up to money because I just traded Monday night. Okay, that's all. And I'm giving you some sauce here. And now I kind of stick to this. It's a boring strategy now because, look, I traded all the different time frames for years. Now I know the best time frames to trade. So it's kind of like It's kind of like if you lived in a town and you went to all the awesome restaurants and they were never going to build another one because the time frames are all kind of there, right? And you went to every single restaurant and you eventually know the ones with the best deal and the best food. And you're like, all right, there's 7 great ones. I'm going to go to these 7. Like, why go to the other ones anymore? They don't do a good job. They're not worth your money, you know. Trading's like, you know, why trade these other time frames? They don't do a good job. They're not worth my money. Just like going to a bad restaurant. Why would I waste my money trading a time frame that usually doesn't have... Now, that doesn't mean I always trade the market. Yes, I always watch the market. Why? Because I'll miss out on the good time frames and I won't be ready for the TA if I'm not planning it out every day. I have to be constantly planning TA out. That's what people don't want to do. That's where there's a miss in trading and lifestyle. That's why I said today that trading is a lifestyle. Okay? Okay, so here's the current status as of June 2022. Iran's position in the military announced on Saturday that it has closed the strait again. They cite Israeli strikes in South Lebanon as violations of the U.S.-Iran ceasefire MOU. Vice President Vance said U.S. officials said the strait is open with coordination mechanisms in place for safe passage. They report 55 merchant ships transited on Saturday, the highest in weeks. Reality on the ground per ship tracking data from Windward, Al Jazeera, and CNBC. Shipping has stalled sharply or dropped significantly since Iran's announcement. Many vessels are anchoring or rerouting due to risk. The strait, which carries 20% of the global, is not fully operating normally. Traffic is well below the pre-conflict levels, which was 100 to 130 plus ships a day. So a fragile interim deal was reached and eased sanctions on nuclear inspections to resume the global reopening. Shipping briefly picked up. On the 20th, they reclosed the strait over Israelis' continued Lebanon operations. And U.S.-Iran talks are happening in Switzerland today. VP Vance is involved and called it a very good day for negotiations. So we're kind of hanging on that. He comes out with good news, we pump. He comes out with bad news, we dump. So he sits in Switzerland and we wait. Seriously. I know you think that's insane, but it's true. That's why we're getting this up and down. And anyone who's taking a shot is providing liquidity for the market to figure out what it wants to do before it figures it out. So if you're over leveraged, if you're in the wrong spot, if you're on the small time frames thinking you're going to get a whammy, they're going to get you. You got to be in and out. You got to have it planned or they're going to get you, baby. And they got a bunch of people already today. Look at the volatility. I can tell you. And I'm saying whenever we cross the 200 moving average on that 1 minute and we go high, that is a massive short squeeze. All right. And there was right above us up to 65. BOOKMAP said again we were going to 65. Now it's telling us we're going to 65.9. It doesn't say for sure, but the red is where we tend to go. So it's telling us that we're likely going up to $66,000 for Bitcoin. That's just what it's saying. It's not a guarantee. That's the highest probability of the move. $66,000 for BTC on that big red bar. What is this? It's a heat map order book. If you never knew, it's BOOKMAP. I get a small commission if you sign up. They do not sponsor the channel. And you know what's cool is nobody sponsors the channel. Everything is commission based here for me, or it's my trading group. So if you jump on in, we talk the talk. We say what we want. Nobody, we don't, there's no payday for the channel, which is kind of nice. One of the few channels. No. If I do get a sponsorship, it'll be hopefully a great product that I care about and really want you to know about, and that we make a really good deal on. So, live for I call it a law. I identified a few accounts who both fake Iran news and then Trump or something almost the time. I knew it was fake news that they walked out. I like it. I like it. I only know the fact in my own ignorance. I like it. We would love to sponsor Dgenix AI. Give us an email, man, and let us know. We like to have banners here on the show, like about if they fit the narrative, if they fit the community, right? So this tells us, and when you look at this, it's just saying, hey, the darker red, the more people are there. Look, 149 Bitcoin, 97 Bitcoin, 200, that's 500 Bitcoins. All right, this is a little bigger too. You got a lot of liquidity right here. There's a battle right where we're at. There's a lot of buying and selling. That's why we're stuck. We're stuck here because that's where the most liquidity is. See, price action is where it is because until one of these breaks, till the buyers lose control and the sellers take over, or the sellers lose control and the buyers take over. You see this hill, eventually the seller's hill will get bigger and start to flood down, or the buyer's hill will flood in. It's a battle right now at the $65, $64,900 level. You can see it. You can see it right there. Now, the red means there's a lot of liquidations up here. There's people that put a stop loss and or their position will get taken out. Whatever it is, they're going to get hit. You know what I mean? They're on the board is what I'm saying. And that's why when people think, hey, I don't use a stop loss because my liquidation, but your liquidation is out there. Once you're on the board with leverage, your liquidation exists, whether you like it or not. And I can see it. If I can see it with this app, then they can see so much. I mean, imagine what they can see. And so this is telling me there's a lot of people that get liquidated at 65,830. Still a group of people, too, that are long down here, enticing enough. And the market's going to figure out where it wants to go. It could go either way. You know, it could go down to 64K. It's starting to get a little redder. You never know. It is a little closer. Okay. I only know the fact of my own ignorance. Slaver. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, amen. WEEX is not a sponsor. No, WEEX is not a sponsor. No. They're a partner. They're awesome. They're amazing, but commission-based. You know what I'm saying? Look at the S&P. Oh, my God. This is so funny, man. You caught me off guard. I just happened to say what I saw. Yeah, man. I gotta be careful. You never know. I read the wrong thing. That was funny, man. That was funny. Shout out to Dylan Wadia. I think I said, did I say that right? Wadia? Or Wadia? Wadia? Thanks, man. You're funny, bro. You're hilarious. Yep. So, yeah, we're just seeing this implosion right back down. I mean, a pump is a dump. When you get away from the 21, I taught my students that that's time to sell. Don't think it's amazing. Always take profit. And look, it's so beautiful. It was a flag. Here's the length of the pole. There's the measured move. If you can get 70 to 80% of the measured move, take it. All right. Hey, Sam, I read it all. I could be a good trader. Every time I will get liquidated, I feel down at the moment, not knowing what to do. You're where most people end up, man. Yeah, 90% of people don't make it through this. Only 10% of people really get through what you're talking about right now. So you have to ask yourself, do you want to make it or not? I was where you were, and I could have stopped. I had trades that didn't go well. I lost 15K in a swing trade when I was only worth 40,000. I stayed in this Givo trade. I kept DCAing into it over and over again. It didn't work out for me. It was tough. You know what I'm saying? And I could have walked away. And when I said, this isn't for me. This trading thing isn't for me. I'm never going to make it. And I could have easily given up and never bought Bitcoin and never took a shot and just kept saving my money. And I guess, I don't know what I would have done. Maybe put it into stock. I don't know if I was playing the stock market back then. So I would have left the stock market. I would never got into cryptocurrency. I would never have a YouTube channel. I would never have pioneered a new path in my life that I could have talked about on the show. So I don't know, man. I got to tell you, man, I kept pushing no matter how. I lost $1 million twice. Sorry if it's intrusive, but I can only be the one to 9 and knows. 60K and 1 at 82K. Go to. How high was the profit at 82? What did you stop at? The profit was like 2,000, and I think it was like $2,800 at the most. I put my stop loss into $500, and when we took that massive dump liquidation, I got hit off for $500. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Now, the next time we get a tweezer bottom, I'll open up another one on the monthly, but not until we get that tweezer bottom. You see what I'm saying? But thank you for asking. Shout out to Coraline Stark. No, you don't have to say sorry. God bless you. Yeah, and I had never traded the monthly before, too, so I'm going to set up again. Every time I see those candles, I'm going to keep setting up until one of them hits. That's crazy. It shows why you never give up hope. Never, man. You can't. I've learned that the richest people, the top 1%, I thought they were the ones who got given the trust fund babies. They weren't, man. They're people that either their dads worked really hard and implemented the mentality. The mentality was passed on generation to generation. You know, a really wealthy person keeps their kids in a hungry mentality. Their kids don't think they're that rich. They know they have wealth, but the kids realize they have to keep up. They have to keep up the family's wealth, and that's actually even a harder task than, being born to a family that just accepts you and wants you to just kind of do what you can. It's almost more pressure born into a wealthier family in a way. People don't realize there's a lot of... Everyone's life is different. Never compare yours to others. You know what I'm saying? But seriously, the richest people in the world are the people that have lost the most amount of money and never given up. Go read about multi-billionaires and millionaires. They've had companies completely implode on them when most people would just go to... And then they Somehow 2 years later, they got a new idea and they keep moving. We may see a slight pullback on the 1 hour, but I think you're right about the $71,000 target. Sam, I apologize for being late today, but the model we looked at on the 4 hours playing out, we may see a slight pullback on the 1 hour. But I think you're right about the $71,000 target. I mean, I don't want to be right or wrong. I'm just looking at probabilities there. You never give up on yourself, never. Shout out to Rudy. I love you, man. You have to always be there. You are one of one. Exactly. Thanks, Sam. You would say taking a break will help 100%. When I lose like that, take 2 to 3 days off, take walks in the park, take a deep breath, and start back with demo trading, man. We have demo trading here on WEEX. If you can't handle real money, and just keep running demo trading to the ground. You know what I mean? Run the demo account to the ground. Stop running real money to the ground. You don't deserve to trade real money till you can handle demo trading. People said, oh, but it's not real money. I do great at demo trading. The second it's real money, I can't handle it. Hogwash. In our group, we accept you posting your demo trades. Show us your demo trades, man. If you can do a demo, you can do, you know. So say, hey, maybe I could post some wins in my demo account. And then learn our system. Learn what we do. Look, buy the 21 above the 200. What you got to be doing is, let me show you exactly what to do. I'm going to teach everyone here exactly what to do. We're doing it right now here on the 1 hour time frame. All right, but we're going to get to this in a second. But I'm going to show you exactly what to do. Map this out. We should clip this out. It's going to be a beautiful teaching moment for anybody that wants to learn how to trade. So we're going to look at a perpetual here. All right. Here's the perpetual contract on WEEX, BTC USD.P. You're going to go back to the 1 minute time frame. And I'm telling you, just start doing this. It may be tedious to you. Maybe it's too hard. Maybe people can't handle it, but you got to keep doing this. All right, let's go back in time. You're going to wake up every morning and you're going to observe the market. Okay? With an open mind. You're not going to tell yourself where Bitcoin's going. You're not going to read a bunch of news on X. First thing I do, everybody, when I wake up in the morning, open my eyes. I go outside now. I sit in the sun because it's the summer. And I sit and I kind of try to stare into the sun, literally. It's hard, so I telescope my eyes. The earlier the better. You can stare into the sun better at 6:30 than at 8:30. I've learned that the hard way. We're crossing the 200 moving average back on the 1 minute. We may get a pump here. We'll see. I'm keen to get in back into a kind of a late, another little scalp. So, and then I take off my shirt and let the sun hit as many parts of my body as I can. Without being weird to my neighbors or my family. You know what I'm saying? But, I just sit there. And that's right when I wake up, like the first thing, like right out of bed. The first thing, and then I usually go to the group and I write, first thing out of my day is gratitude. And I say to the group, let's stay in gratitude, right? Okay. So there we have it, right? Trade on WEEX. I get rid of my vision glasses by staring at the sun every day. The sun healers. That's what I keep hearing, man. Keep staring at the sun, so I keep staring at the sun. So anyway, and once the vitamin D's been taken in, I come downstairs and I do an update on Bitcoin. I don't read the news. I don't look at the state. I don't look at any of that stuff. I just do an update on Bitcoin. And the charts tell, I could never know anything about Bitcoin. So you wake up in the morning. It's 7 a.m. You're in my trading group. You're in my trading school. And you're going to have my setup and my indicators because you're going to watch the Watch First videos that teach you how I set up my charts. And you're going to even watch the beginning class that I have, a 45-minute free course. It's going to really get you going. And so the second we cross a 200 moving average, which is the yellow line, you're not going to chase anymore like you used to. Before, you used to open up a trade right here, and then you'd be down immediately, right? How many people here on the stream used to do that, right? And then what you do is you kind of do this. You map out a possible flag. Something, you know what I mean? You'll know this better once you get used to it. But just trust me on it. Downward flag or sideways flag. It's one or the other. And then, you're going to watch price action. It's not going to be perfect. You're going to figure it out. You're going to tweak this as it goes. Delete the other one that doesn't really apply. And then when the 21 touches price, and you're above the 200 after the pump. So you know the pump is great. Don't chase the pump. This is where you start to enter the trade. And you make sure your stop loss, if you can, below the previous resistance, below the 200 moving average. If you get a point of control on the POC, the POC right there on the VRVP on the right. If you don't have your VRVP, go up here, type in VRVP, hit visible range profile. When you click on yours, it's going to get added to your chart. It might be pink because they changed the color, but yours is going to be 224. Yours going to look like this. So just go to your inputs and put a 0 next to the 20. You know what I mean? That's all you got to do. Don't delete 24. Just literally click on it and put a 0. Hit OK. That's all you're going to do. So look, then this should be a good trade. Right? And you keep the stop below the 200. It might not be perfect, but look, that hit the target. That would have been, and you could have risked 200 for 600, 1,000 for 3,000, 3,000 for 10,000, 200 for 600. I did 100 for 300 for like 2 years straight. I'm serious. 100 for 300 every time I traded left for 2 years straight. Right? And I just went at these over and over again till I got comfortable with them. Right? And I just did this over and over again. So this is all you have to do. Literally to make money on a daily basis. And you can do this on any single market in the world. You can wake up on the NQ in the morning. Get ready. Use my moving averages. This one, look, it got above the 200 and it was gone. Now there's a couple ways to do it. You can wait for us to cross the 200 and touch the, see, here it is right here. So let's selectively do this. And now we're going to do this on the NASDAQ. So they pump it. It crosses the 200 moving average. You're going to sit there. You're going to draw your two lines. You don't know what's going to happen, but you're just going to sit. And you're going to observe. Sit there with a cup of coffee. I sit there. I play music. I might be learning something, how to sail, how to tie a knot. Who knows? Some other information that I'm learning. And then bang, like this starts. Then I delete the top one. I'm like, okay, I get squared away. I'll look at the support and resistance. That's a below. I map out the possible measured move, and then I look for the 3-to-1. Now, this involves knowing proper risk management because you need to know what risk ratio you're going for. You need to understand why moving averages because you need to know why you're using the moving averages. And look, now we got a divergence on the stochastics RSI, right? And you press play and see how this plays out. And that NASDAQ trade would have paid you well. You see this? And then you could sell anywhere here. Now, here's another signal right here. My system would have told you to pick up another long right around here. But only go for this. And bang, that would have hit too. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, this is how I trade. I go and I look for these moments, and they usually happen somewhere between... That one was at 1 in the afternoon, or was it 1 in the morning? Yeah, that was at 1 in the morning, But they usually happen, I'd say, somewhere between 6 and 10 in the morning, And a lot of times they happen too, right? Again, last night we traded this on the live stream. We traded this on the live stream last night, and it hit nicely. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you never know when it's going to hit. You just got to keep pushing and keep learning, everybody. Like, this isn't like no one's guaranteed. I'm still in a learning process. And think about it. You might have 5 years of trading and then have a 6-month drought where something's in your mind. Some people go through divorce. Something's happened and like it gets in your head. You know what I mean? I'll just melt the like button off the screen. Only 300. Come on, people, hit the like button, baby. All right. The Lord is my shepherd. I walk with thee. I shall not fear no evil market because I have donned the armor of God and money is my tool to spread his good word. Amen. Shout out to Servando Estrada. Shout out to Sean Carr. Shout out to everybody here on the live. And so once you understand how markets work, which is when the 200 loses, we go down. When the 200 gains, we go up. And same with the dailies. That's why we're waiting. Everyone's waiting on the daily 200 moving average. That's why you hear everyone talk about it all the time. But you only hear people talk about it when it matters, when it's important. We talk about it every day. It's a constant process for us, So look, there's your 1 hour finally getting a bit of a tweezer buy. And that means you long right now. I mean, so you could technically front run this right now. And there's a chance you win. It's very high risk. And there's, in my mind, we just have to wait for consolidation. But this is beautiful. You want to see price at, and I'm not saying it's going to happen for sure, but we can start to believe that this is our bounce. We've got previous resistance as support here. We look back, we bounced here, almost hit it there on a wick. Resistance. So you can see this is a glob. So we previously ended price, we're previously bouncing off price. If you take that position, you're taking a 200 moving average move, close above. You're just front running this. Sometimes this can still come down. So now I'm getting into, now I showed you a system. Now I'm telling you, well, now inside of every system, there should be even a divisive center of risk on top of that. Meaning what? Meaning each time you go through the fork hole, I'm trying to visually get you through my mind saying, so here's the trade. Bang. You know nothing about trading, first of all. You just start buying and selling, you're not a clue. You join my trading group. You go to cryptolifer.com, you get into the Discord, you start watching the content, you start watching me. Within a year, you understand what I'm doing. You understand my indicators. You're not 100% there, but you're way ahead of where you used to be. Now you got a system, you got tools, and you got a mentor. You got 3 things you didn't have before. Now you start to implement my strategy, and the first leg. So now you're on the first, before you had no pathway, you were lost. Now you're on the first path. Now I'm teaching you the second. Now you've gotten here. Now you get to the crossroad. What is the crossroads? Well, now that you know my system, there's even levels to the system. There's times when the system has a 90% accuracy and more like a 30% accuracy. Trading my system on Saturday morning, right, has a very low win rate as compared to trading it on a Tuesday between 10 and 12. Yes. All of a sudden the system works, but at better times. And that's what I went through today too. In my trading group, you're going to learn when to trade. Not just how to trade and systems to trade, but when to trade. You see what I'm saying? The actual time of the day to trade. Okay? And you're going to learn about different markets and why they overlap. We're talking London, Asia, New York. Okay? Sam, AM Short G. Shout out to you, my man. This is the best. Who gives this alpha for free? Nobody. And because I have it so locked in, I can help you. I'm here to help you. You learn my system and gain some money, jump into the trading group. Go to, cryptolifer.com. I don't want to extract wealth from you by selling trading groups to you. I want you to learn from me for free and then join the trading group. Because you've made so much money, $99 a month now is freedom to you. Giving me $99 is basically your reward to the world saying, I am so free. I don't have to work for pennies anymore. I'm able to make excess money, and I want to join the group and learn more. Sam actually gives some calls too. I'm not always on, I'm not always watching like Sam. Sometimes I want to take a break. He's 7 days a week, right? So it gives you that option. It gives you the benefit. The best money you can spend is on your education in the field you want to be proficient in with the person who's the most proficient in it. Sammy is that person. Hey, listen to what Wang Chung said. That's what he said. That's not what I said. Oil dumping, that's a good sign for us. For Bitcoin. Shout out to the beautiful people here on the live. Let's get the likes up to the watchers. I would greatly appreciate it. My 1,000 lifers and continuing. All right. You say 100 for 300. You mean 3x leverage? No, that's the risk to reward 3 to 1. We're risking 1 for 3, 10,000 for 30,000, $1 for $3, $5 for 15, 20 for 60, 30 for 90, 90 for 270. The leverage is whatever you put. And that's what people don't understand too. They don't understand leverage trading. I have a whole entire class on leverage trading inside my group that's free in the content directory right now. Might be worth $99 right away for you to jump on in and take that class. Might save you immediately from not even understanding how to start a leverage trade. That's another reason why you need a demo trade when you start. Open up a WEEX account, go here to futures, come down to demo trade, and start demo trading with me live. Grow some guts, take a shot in your life, do something different, and get rewards for it. Everyone that took a shot got rewards. I took a shot with this YouTube stream. Look what happened to it. I traveled the world, and people hate on me now because of my success. People hate on me because of the success I got that I didn't know I was ever going to get. You see what I'm saying? And people also love me and are super nice to me. Don't get me wrong. Let's focus on the good. But I just want to put that out there. Like, you're in control. You create this reality that you live in. If you're upset about where you're at in life, ask yourself why and change it. It's not going to happen overnight. You're going to have to start making some changes. And once you implement those changes, your life will change. Okay? I promise you that, but it's going to take some time. Can you share your thoughts on SpaceX? Let's take a look. Bitcoin's kind of stuck here at 65,072. Stuck in limbo a little bit. We're going to see this go sideways. Tonight, it's looking set up for a pretty good trade, though. You know? Yeah, it's funny. How you enjoy it? Sammy, I just want to say thank you for real. You've changed my life, honestly. Shout out to Learn, Enjoy, Relax. God bless you. Hey, man, you're not the first person to tell me that. And I'm not trying to downplay it. I think that's a blessing. The monetary gains I've made in my life are amazing. But these, when people write this to you, I know people that have made the money I've made. Heck, even more. But they've never gotten this type of feedback. Getting feedback from other human beings that you've helped them in their conquest to be successful is amazing, man. No matter what your ability and effort is, what ignites the ability and turns it into accomplishment, stay around positive people. Positive people attract positive people. I attract a lot of positive people into my life through this channel. You know, by putting out positive energy, I hang around positive people. And positive people are the people that, yes, they've lost a lot of money, but they've always bounced back. I can turn every loss into a win, man. No matter what that loss is, no matter how hard it was, we can turn it into a win. Every time. Wow, look at that. We talked about it maybe breaking out of the rising wedge, going all the way up to 24, and it did that. To me, it's time to sell. Why? Because the 21 and the 200 are too far apart on the daily. That's just it. It might have one more leg up, but that's it, you know. It has one more leg up, it'll have a leg down. Perfect time to start taking profits, man. If you got in down here, I mean, it's time to sell. That's had its. They've rallied this thing to the moon. If it continues to go up, it'll be kind of nuts. It's done the rising wedge. It's done it all. It's done the three moves of an absolute explosion. Yeah, it's too far for the 21. On the weekly, you pull your fib now and get ready for the crash. Maybe one more little pump. But that's unsustainable for sure. I think today or the next few days they're going to rotate whatever the money they into some other stock. Sam has taught me a lot more than trading. Super grateful for this, man. Love you, Sam. Love you, Rudy. Thank you for being here and actually listening, man. It's awesome. And I told you that as well, Sammy, but you know in my life, my culture, actions, speak words are just words. And they just keep trying to help you with things or invite you out. Thank you, man. We'll hang out, Dirty. I appreciate it, man. Now on the 50-minute, though, it's about to touch price action and we're on an uptrend. So shouldn't that go up? Let's take a look. Yes and no. You know, you got to look at your RSI. Look how it's kind of curving down after a move up there, you know. We just want, I at this point, I zoom out to the 1 hour time frame. And again, we still may dump down. Like, it's not over yet here. You know, you just wait. The 21 is all we wait. You don't push any. It's about getting to the 21. It's not really about anything else. That's why I want everyone here to get obsessed with the 21-day moving average. So obsessed with it that you can't, you know, it's all you think about. All the time. Let's take a look at the bubbles here. Lab getting a bit of a pump. AERO continuing to rip. I still hold my AERO and ADI in there. We'll take a look at that coin I haven't seen in a while. CANCC took a dump. Funny. I don't expect any of these long-term holds to do anything crazy immediately either. So that's like a 4-year hold if it does anything. Wow, ADI looks like exactly what we just watched. SanDisk. Funny, 374 all the way up to 427. Fast. This thing started pumping June 16th. Been pumping for a week straight. Out of control. To me, unsustainable. I've never seen anything. I don't know what's going on there. ADI. Let's take a look at what it is. But I'm wary of stuff like that. Just straight green candles, like no red candles at all. $214 billion? Are you serious? Daily volume of 430 million? Is it a stock? Is that what it is? Are we just tracking a stock? $4. Is that what it is? Is it like... No, this is 80 on. Yeah, hold on here. There it is, ADI, 150 market cap. I mean, volume's okay. KuCoin has the most volume, 3.5 million. crazy. Designed to support government-grade compliance, enterprise-level integrations, and emerging financial ecosystems by enabling transparent settlement, smart contract execution, and secure digital asset infrastructure. Government-grade compliance. So it's got that, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. Yeah, that's too crazy. 5 days straight of green candles, no pullback at all. Too far for the 21. That's got to be a short waiting to happen back to the 618 fib. I would not touch that. Yeah. Are you enjoying the stream? Shout out to everybody here. Hit that like button, and we appreciate it. Everyone, every time you hit that like button, you show up for a small business, a mom and pop business, me and my wife together, with just a small group of employees here. We're not a huge mass conglomerate. I'm not in a giant $100,000 studio with 50 people around me doing makeup. We do a great job with what we have, and we make it amazing. All right. So let's take a look at the last hour. Anything kind of moving. Dexy back in the green. A little bit there. Lit is on my radar right now. Everything else kind of a little quiet. Just has been hot. Tron has just been, and SEI has been in a very tight flag, which we're kind of watching closely right now. Might give some gains on a swing trade there. Not a lot of action today. Nothing crazy. Let's take a look at Lab. We did find Lab really early. Some people in my trading group made massive amounts on Lab. It's getting tighter and tighter. To me, it tells me that it could probably bounce and go up. I could see this thing at 35. It was just a dollar or something. And then it ripped all the way to 27. Came back down on the massive sell. Look, it did what you expect after a pump like that. Came all the way back to the 886 retracement. Since has bounced. Previous resistance became kind of a support there, and now it's learning a new support. And to me, that goes sideways. A little bit of bear div, we'll see. And it is volatile. Like, it could go right down and just take out the stops. Be very careful. Altcoins are extremely sketchy right now. So Venice token has been a nice kind of ongoing trade here. I look for long-term accumulation for Venice token. I do like what I'm seeing. Then that second cup of coffee gave me a stomachache. Shouldn't have pushed it. 1 cup only, Sammy. The second cup definitely gave me a tummy ache. I got a tummy ache. I'll be okay, though. Don't worry. I'll make it. But my tummy hurts. It's that BS half and half. I should never use that garbage. Black coffee or nothing, folks. Trust me, your stomach will love you for it over time. And then the other word, Sammy Son, I gotta say, great call on CC. So look, we're getting more bearish here for Bitcoin. Looks like it's getting dragged down. That's why you really want to watch it on the smaller time frames too as well. See how that's shoulder, head, kind of right shoulder there. You'll see it even closer on the 5-minute. Yeah, that's a head and shoulder, is it not? As granulated as it is, right? Sam, drink low acidity coffee. It'll save your stomach. Where do you get the low acidity coffee, man? Wang Chung, I appreciate that statement, brother. Yeah, my stomach's in pain right now. It usually is not. I usually just have 1 cup of coffee, keep going. I'm not in pain. You know what I mean? I see. Venice token looks, someone thinks to short it, like it's kind of making head and shoulders to the downside. I don't know. I like that 3-day above the 2. The 3-day looks bullish. 3-day says you can buy it now, and it might go on its next leg. And it might actually be a big one. It ripped when no one else was ripping back during Bitcoin Las Vegas. And I could see it ripping now it doesn't need a catalyst or any news. Exactly. You got to take a boo-boo, Sammy. What does that mean? I drink my coffee. No. I don't have to take a boo-boo. You're crazy. I've been doing this just straight black coffee for about 6 months. Yeah. I did black coffee for years. I didn't do any coffee. I usually don't do coffee. Last last year, I don't know why. I've been more on coffee recently. I have plenty of low. I roast, package, and ship. Oh, wow. Send me the email. Email cryptolifers@gmail. Let us know about the low acid coffee. Marcus said, I had bad habits of trading. I even went to business school. Sam has helped me a lot in getting rid of my bad habits. I like to hear that. Well, we have to blame ourselves all the time for everything that's not going right in our lives. It's always our fault. If we have a friend that's taking advantage of us, it's our because we brought that person in our life and we're letting them take advantage. Put a wall up, say no more, and that person won't take advantage of you anymore. It's really simple. Like, whatever's happening in your life, it's your fault. Say someone keeps taking from you over and over again. You're nice to them. You've been a good friend. They've asked for money. You've given it to them. They've taken things of yours. They've used your own things that are your own property over and over again. They took them without asking. You were nice about it because they never really broke anything. They just kind of didn't treat it perfectly. But then you finally, came to your wits' end that you were done with your things getting abused and you were done getting abused. It's time for you to cut that person off and move on. If you keep inviting that into your life, it's your fault. I've gone through this on my own, you know what I mean? And it's sad. And they blame you. It's your fault. You're the mean person. You're the person that won't pick up. You're the person, but they're the one who has been taking advantage of you over and over again. You see what I'm saying? And enough is enough. So, and you gotta, that's important too. It's parasitic. It's almost vampirism. And you're letting it happen because you're letting these people into your life. All right. The regular day only meal, by the way, it will make you feel better. Yeah. Just got back on the coffee for the first time in 1.5 years. Only drink black, baby, black. Yeah. Yeah, so Venice looks interesting to me. I'm going to keep a radar on it. Taking a shot at the 3-day tweezer bottom might be interesting on that 21. Hey, I mean, you scan the market. This has, healthier price actually the most. More know-how the most. People are paying attention. And it actually has a use case. This isn't just whatever. This is like a Grok AI kind of without having to give up your personal data, your information. So, right. All right. I like it. So there's a lot of action out here. Bitcoin's kind of been stagnant now, sideways. We're still in the WorldCoin. We're going to talk about WorldCoin in a second. I got a segue of news to bring up. We're seeing if we can get the bounce. Let's look at the bigger time frames for front-running any tweezers. Does look like a bear flag forming, does it not? I could get the shorts going, but it doesn't look great. I wouldn't short it just now. I just let price action figure itself out on the 1 hour time frame today. That's what I'm doing. Anyway, I just want to delete everything and look at the 1 hour. And again, you could trade on TradingView right here on WEEX. Yeah, so we're just looking for that tweezer bottom. You can front run it. Just want to see that close nice and green. Stay above. Let the 21 connect. Just looking for this bounce. Nothing crazy here. And I just want to take my trade with my stop below the 200. I already know the trade I'm going for. I already know exactly how I want to trade it. I could front run it right now. I like to be somewhere there if I can. Something like this. That's the trade I'm looking for tonight. Could technically enter it right now, but it's high risk. I've entered this right now many times and I've gotten hit. I've waited and I've won more. So the price is tempting to get into now, though. Kind of, you buy the exact bottom and you get a way better trade. Like if I'm entered to get in here, it's probably almost a 4-to-1. Yeah, it's a 4.2 to 1. I mean, that's a nice trade right there. So, right? Hey, Sam, thanks for the content. Check out the Move coin, please. It's done or could be something worth watching, or it may have bottomed. Shout out to Marcus for the super chat, for the 5 gifted memberships. He does it almost every day, man. You don't have to. That's amazing. Can't believe how much you give to this channel. It's unbelievable. All the people that do this. I'm not really sure how you knew that. I mean, yes, absolutely so much. Yeah, exactly. Thanks for the content. Check out the Move coin. We'll look at that. Let's take a look at the fan funding on the day here. These are people that have given their money to the channel to say something on the day. We appreciate that. Sam, I got to say your thumbnails are off to chop, bro. Thank you, man. Sending gratitude and love to all the lifers. Let's go. God bless you. Hey, brother, I appreciate your commitment to your community. So many good video on how your Minotaur bot is doing. Thank you for joining. You know, it did really well. It turned 0.5 Bitcoin into 1.5. It was an amazing run. It really did well. What I did, though, is I kind of turned it aggressive at the top of the market. I never really ran a bot before, and I let it run a little too hot. It now has a liquidation about 23,000, and we're still in. And it actually could make one of my biggest paydays of my life, and it will be one of the longest trades I've ever held. Yeah. And I actually want to. I'm in the midst of starting another one and getting things going. So, but and again, that's going to have a different. Actually, they have a newer strategy too that can flip short and long, which is very promising. I was in a long strategy only that worked very well. All right, we're gonna have it, but this one has mitigation on it and kind of like can flop. You know, it can basically de-risk the trade, and it's pretty smart. So, yeah, it's getting better as it goes on. So, but let me tackle it. I got to tackle it for a couple weeks to a month first before I even talk about it, right? You know what I mean? Just professionally, I want to know what's going on. I want to run it, but I'm gonna start to run it with about 10, 12, 15K and see where it goes. And then I'm going to get back into it again. Yeah. But thank you for asking. I appreciate it. Crypto Knight with an NITE. Interesting. So yeah, boring price action. We sit at 65. Which is good for me. I'd like to see a slowdown on the move. I want to see the liquidations kind of calm down here. I want to see us slow down for Bitcoin. All right, I got some news for you coming up, just to kind of break it down at 11:30. Solana partners with Toss Bank on cross-border payment pilot. So South Korea's Toss Bank is testing a possible fix, partnering with Solana Foundation to see whether public blockchain technology can make cross-border remittances faster and cheaper for its 15 million customers. So Solana won't just be considered a meme coin. It'll be considered a banking route, a pathway for the new economy. I believe Solana is an amazing tech. Works really well. And so why not? I still own Solana and believe in Solana and have a bag of Solana, you know, so I like seeing that news. Rockstar's GTA pre-order date sparks frenzy in unauthorized crypto meme coin. So, you know what I mean? It always happens like that. So the announcement, which promises access what is widely expected to be one of the largest entertainment launches in history, immediately reignited retail enthusiasm with hours of news trading, volume surge on platforms like Solana, BNB Chain, Ethereum, with digital tokens bearing the names linked to GTA 6, its characters, and its fictional Vice City setting, right? Market analysts caution the rally is entirely narrative-driven and carries extreme risk. Its parent company, Take-Two Interactive, on the NASDAQ, TTWO, right? They have not authorized any release, obviously. But just that's also so you know, man, if you want stock market exposure there, TTWO, if you think that's going to be a hit, which it very well may. We could take a look at that stock actually in a second just to kind of segue that. MicroStrategy added 520 Bitcoin to someone that's like a lifetime of wealth. To them, it's just a chip off the old block, lifting their total holdings to 363,000 BTC. And it stands at 1.4 billion to back digital. The USD reserve, and the USD reserve now stands at 1.4 to back digital credit securities. So now they also have a backing of USD. A move follows larger prior week purchase of 1,587 Bitcoin and reflects a balance sheet produce. So it's pretty nice, all right? And people are worried about strategy losing the dividend. You know, when strategy loses the peak to the peg to 100. You know, when strategy loses the peg, the dividend increases. Some people want the peg to lose because they want more cash flow. So when strategy loses the peg, the dividend rises up. A lot of people don't mind that because they're in for the long haul and they just want money now off the stock that they have. This actually is a good incentive for the stock, and it is a lot of the stuff on it is there's a lot of fought on it. Peter Schiff slams Grant Cardone's Bitcoin real estate strategy. He's openly criticized the use of rental income for real estate investments to accumulate Bitcoin. He argues that property companies already generated enough cash flow to cover operating costs, while Cardano believes the model provides investors with indirect Bitcoin exposure and long-term treasury benefits. Schiff's firm in his belief that Bitcoin adds little value to a business that already produces steady rental income. They're saying, hey, you now have real estate and you have access to Bitcoin. You see what I'm saying? Here's what he said: combining real estate with Bitcoin solves nothing. He claims RETs need Bitcoin on their balance sheet to sell so they can pay for repairs and maintenance, but real estate throws off rental income, which can be used to cover those ongoing costs. Happy to debate this. Funny. I mean, he sees no long-term, you can't really debate it because he sees no long-term wealth in Bitcoin, right? Sam Bankman-Fried says he may launch a new crypto after prison. I mean, when is that? 30 years from now? Like, 118-year-old Scottish investment Bailey Gifford has launched a tokenized corporate fund on Ethereum and Solana. That's a big deal. You see what I'm saying? Because this is a long-term wealth provider in Scotland, and they're now going to actually tokenize. When big business from long-term generational wealth starts to tokenize, you got to pay attention. Bitmine adds 52,000 ETH over the past week, bringing its holdings to 5.6 million. And then that's insane. They don't stop. And Polymarket used fake information on social media, which is a bit weird. And Britain's pound and government prices held lower due to Keir Starmer resigning. Keir has resigned. Worst prime minister in the history of the UK. The guy was horrible. I'm really happy to see him gone. I couldn't stand him. He sounded like he did not represent the people at all. He was the worst. He honestly ruined the everyday life for the common person in the UK. Like, absolutely destroyed it. Anyway, back into the facts here. So Bitcoin getting a bit of a bounce, and that's why I'm just looking for the 1 hour to do its thing here. That's all I'm looking for, just like I showed you on the chart. So that's why you want to have yourself set up. You're not running around doing crazy stuff. You know, you're poised and ready. So we're poised and ready. We know the chart. We know the setup we're looking for. Now, get in now. Sometimes I do. I have in the past. I get in right here because you know why? It's a pretty good risk to reward right here. My stop loss can be a little deeper and protected. I'm just not. I didn't touch the 21 yet. I've lost a lot when I front ran that. I got a good vibe on it today. It looks interesting. Those other time frame and things that I've looked at suggest that I can win this trade if I get in right now. It's a high risk entry right now if you get in. That's all I got to say. But that is the entry that I would be looking at for PTC. Okay. I would like to look at gold too, see what's happening to these precious metals of the day. I'm not really trading them per se, but I like to look at gold. I traded gold and silver for a long time. I see gold kind of continuing down this spiral for a little bit. Until it hits maybe, it might even come back to the 618. That 3-day 200 moving average. And look, gold lost the daily 200. When an asset does that, that's usually the beginning of a bigger pullback. That's last time gold lost the daily 200 here in 2013. It spent about 2 years below it before it got back above it. Had a little bit of bull run, lost it again. And look at this bull run, 2019 all the way to 2020. It's really been on a run ever since. It hasn't really distinctively lost the 200 like this since 2022. Been about 4 years since you've seen gold below the 200 daily moving average. Tells me that it's in for a kind of long-term accumulation. Might even be kind of, they might have gotten all they could out of gold. You know what I mean? They ran it, they're like, all right, let's run it up before Bitcoin becomes the new digital gold. It looks like how they treat a meme coin. You know, you run it up as much as you can and then you dump it on retail. Hey, it's a narrative. I'm not saying it's but I wouldn't be trading it right now. I'm looking for the DXY to continue lower. After, the initial pump, fine, right? And that was like, struggling. That's also pushing gold down when you see the dollar pump like that. I was looking for it to fall over, man. I'm going to look at dollar on the bigger time frame here. Has some supportive resistance, which isn't amazing, but I feel like this, I still bear flag this out here. Yeah, maybe one more little pump up, but I see this bear flagging and continue lower. Got to make sure it doesn't close candles like above this strong resistance point, above 100, But I see it milling around, maybe sideways again, like I showed you Bitcoin for a couple of months, and then by November, December, we start to get the drop. It does look like it may go sideways, which supports the choppy July and somewhat, it doesn't look amazing right now for July and August. But we'll go from there. 65,000 for Bitcoin, barely holding now. NASDAQ on the 15 minutes still looks interesting, like it could get a bit of a pump here. Wouldn't give up on the NASDAQ. Looks like it could be in a nice entry point before a bigger move. I see a pump for the NASDAQ. I see it higher. The next week or two, 10 days from now, I see the NASDAQ way higher than it is. I'm making a predict. Like, I see the NASDAQ's about to pump. Looking good. Yeah, so nothing crazy on Bitcoin. We're just kind of watching this sideways price action here. That's it. You know, you can go to the 1 minute and see. We're probably in some chop now. Yeah, we've been sideways on the 1 minute for an hour. Like this. We are above the 200 still, but it looks crazy. Just, you know, not worth really paying attention to. That'll pull your hair out. You know what I mean? I map out the 1 hour. I check it every couple of hours. I see what's happening. I swing trade some altcoins like I'm doing right here. And let's jump on into WorldCoin and see what's happening to WorldCoin, which is kind of the trade of the week for me. I don't love the coin. I don't like the thesis. Nothing about it excites me. I'm just swing trading it on leverage. It doesn't matter to me. All right. Nothing crazy. So let's talk about what we liked and what we saw. So WorldCoin was looking amazing. And again, this may bore you. I'm going to talk about the same stuff I always talk about. It's not going to change much, but... So listen, WorldCoin had broken above the 200 moving average. Oh my gosh, Sam's talking about a 200 moving average again on the daily time frame. Just like when gold broke below it, that's bearish. When you get above it, that's bullish. Up or down does not matter. You can flip the charts up or down by using Alt-I. So when I saw this, and I saw that we were starting to do this here and catch that 21, I knew we should load up into this coin. And we got a massive pump. We were up. Then we came back down. And I zoomed into the smaller time frame. And I saw that we were coming where? This is going to blow your mind. We were coming to the 200 on the 1 hour time frame. And I said, this is a bounce. We have previous resistance. We have a bounce here. And this says we can get a move. Now the 1 hour is flagging out above the 200 with the 21. It's doing exactly what the daily did. See, this is a microcosm of the daily. You see how you can learn how to trade the daily with the 1 hour with the daily. You can learn how to trade a meme coin with an alt with a meme. Gold and silver trade just like WorldCoin. And so I see a flag on the 4 hour that looks like it's breaking out with a bullish engulfing candle. And this tells me that we're going to continue higher to the upside. You know, no bearish divergence. Everything looks good. Lack of bearish momentum with the MACD. Lack of sell pressure. This is accumulation for whatever reason. And I see this headed to 73 and then possibly up to 86. That to me is a nice trade right there on the day. You do whatever makes you happy. I'm already in the trade, of course, right? So I'm biased to the pump. But if this works out, I'm going to turn $250 into $3,000, folks. It's going to take about 2 weeks. Imagine turning $250 into $3,000 in 2 weeks. Just by understanding how to use moving averages, being super patient. And again, yeah, it may not be the boatload of money. It may not be life-changing for me right now and where I am in life. But the strategy is life-changing. And what I do is at the right time, I'm doing what you're seeing with leverage, with spot, with hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm putting in $200,000, $300,000 in at these places without stressing, without being like, and then I don't check it every 5 seconds. I'm not like, oh my God, I'm down 50K, I'm down 30K. I just keep accumulating Bitcoin near 200 moving averages on the heavy fear. This is when most people can't handle it. When the emotions are just, people right now are just, they're starting to believe Bitcoin's not going to make it. They're starting to believe that Bitcoin doesn't exist. They're starting to think that Bitcoin is weak. This is amazing, folks. This is one of the greatest assets in the world. It wouldn't even be on, we shouldn't even be talking about Bitcoin. Don't you get it? It was worth $1 when $1 was $1. It lapped, then it was worth $10. It 10x the dollar. The second it 10x, then became worth $10. People would have been like, that was like a scary moment for the dollar. How did this thing out of nowhere that barely anybody knows about 10x you? Then it became $100. At $100, no one even knew what it was. It was still tiny on the internet. Then it became $500. It 500x the dollar. You see what I'm saying? Like, it almost did it so subtly, people didn't realize what it was. Now it is being bought by BlackRock and the biggest institutions in the world, and they still ask you, what is Bitcoin? It's kind of fascinating to me. It's kind of like people used to use a hammer and a new type of hammer came out. And all the biggest companies that build the most homes and do the most work start using the new hammer. And everyone still thinks that it's not as good as the old hammer. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, why would they even be using it if it wasn't good, man? Like, they wouldn't even be using Bitcoin as a financial asset. They figured out how to bring it into their balance sheets. They figured out how to use it and sell it to their big time families and their private equity. And it's almost amazing when you think about how far we've come when it comes to BTC. So yeah, this WorldCoin trade looks like it's the next thing to pump. It looks like there's a 14% gain coming, 21 above the 200. Consolidating beautifully. Might even be a little tighter here. Might have a little less time before the pump. I like what I'm seeing here for WorldCoin, and the pump looks interesting. Looks absolutely beautiful. You know, so, but we'll see. We will see. I'm long. I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I've been long on that. And again, I didn't have to risk tons of money. You know what I mean? You don't have to be the biggest risker in the game. Look, we're up 318%, turned $250 into $800, only using, and look, there's the fees right there. But how much in fees, Sam? Look, $2 in funding fees, $213 in it to open the transaction. Because 0.2%, $2 on $250. I mean, it's nothing, man. Okay, so there you have it. Let's jump back into the live chat for a second. I love how you saw right through it, just like myself with a low. Please nobody get the guy. Yeah. Yeah. Can we look at AERO? Let's take a look at AERO from Cody Mapwin. And this is when we kind of go exclusively fan funding too. Because this is the last part of the channel. You guys can kind of take over and ask what you want as we head kind of in towards this moment in time. All right, Coinbase, and thank you for sharing your beautiful time with me, folks. It's been amazing. So, yeah, AERO was in this kind of see cup and handle. I was saying it looks like it's in a cup and handle that wants to pump up to 64. It did that crazily, and it's done this many times. I love AERO. I've been in AERO for a long time. Got in at 30 cents. It's now almost a double up yet again. I don't know how many times I've doubled it, though. Way too many to count. It still struggles. I just, you know, I'm in AERO because I believe in the long term. It's almost, you could buy coin on the stock market. You could buy Aerodrone, in my humble opinion. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. I'm like, how is coin going to go down? They're not. They're going to continue. They're going to lobby. They're going to make sense. They're going to become the new one of the, they're like the Amazon of cryptocurrency. And they've been around for so long. Like someone yesterday asked me, he doesn't have huge exposure. He has some Bitcoin. He's like, I think coin's a good buy. I said, Dad, I said, not financial advice. I think coin is a great buy. Like, if for me personally, yeah. So look, Aerodrone's the same way. You want to watch it do this. We got to get back to that 21 and just stay above the daily 200. Nice pump. We need to consolidate now. You can watch the 1 hour. We may pump, but it may actually get like a rising wedge here. Again, you don't know what the smaller time frames will do. You set up. If you get stopped out on the smaller, then you put your tail between your legs and you wait for the daily to play out. Sometimes you get lucky on the pump. I've learned my lesson just to go for the less risky play every time. So for me, I wouldn't chase it even if it does pump a little more. It looks like it might. It's kind of got this rising cup and handle rising. It's got this, you can see the measured move. It's going to make this leg up out of the rising wedge. It would take you somewhere to 73 cents. But you got to know that you're getting extended on that daily. So I'd much rather, fine, it pumps up a little more, but I'd much rather wait and get in. So you might get that extra flag. So you have two shots. You take the risky flag on the 1 hour because you can't help yourself and you want to get the win. Or you wait for the daily to play out better off in a less risky trade on the 1 hour time frame. Very similar to how WorldCoin. And the thing is, you don't have to trade anything. You could set this up on 500 coins and only trade the ones that the daily looks good. People force themselves into trading 1 minute when they don't even have to. You could use your trading the daily all the time. It's up to you. It's how you set up your trading. It's how you set up your lifestyle to learn trading. I was saying today in the trading group, strategy, proper risk management, and then how do you live your lifestyle around trading? Do you keep an iPad that you check in with once an hour? Do you set alerts that go off? Do you already set up the trade before you leave the house and then just have your phone with you just to take the trade that you've already spent a bunch of time on your computer mapping out? I'll trade on my phone only if I've already mapped the trade out on my big screens and I've seen it in my mind with a large... I need to see it. I didn't buy all these screens and have a bunch of monitors in front of me to like stare at a little phone and try to figure out my trade. To me, that's a waste of time. You know, and honestly, almost every time I've done a only phone trade without really giving myself the space to see the trade, it doesn't work out perfectly for me. Maybe it works out for you, but not for me. You know what I mean? So again, AERO Drone looks like a good one on the daily. It might go another leg up as we showed you on the 1 hour, but eventually this is showing strength of in the next 2 weeks of getting into another big long. We want to make the big pumps. Do you want to get it at 35 and sell at 56? To do that, you got to be in the trade from the 11th of June to the 20th. That's 11 days. To be in a trade 11 days seems like nothing when you talk about it now. Oh, yeah, just 11 quick days. When you're in a trade, every day in that trade seems like a long time. Right now, I'm in that AERO Drone trade. It seems like forever, man. You know what I mean? It seems like forever. And honestly, every time you're in a trade that takes long like that, you teach yourself a lot of patience. That's how you learn patience, by holding swing trades. That's why I like to swing trade a lot, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there we go. Coming back down. And again, this is expected. You're just too far from that 21. And again, now you might make a shoulder, head, right shoulder. See, I can go from bullish to bearish if we don't get, you got to get the pattern right. It was looking nice there. And again, we might get the pump here. Right off the 200. I don't stress it, man. 6 hours from now, we're going to get a formation. We're going to be able to use that for information. Right now, we're going to wait for that information to come. All right. Okay, let's take a look at the fan funding one more time. So we looked at AERO. We talked about Minotaur, gratitude and love. Thank you. Oh, wow, awesome. Nothing too crazy. Any more asks here on the fan funding? Let me know. 8 minutes left of the show. All right. Okay. Yeah, we look. Oh, yeah. So there's a few coins that actually look interesting. There's one I'm about to post to the trading group. You'll only know if you join the trading group. You may have seen it. You may have not. I'm not sure. But you only know if you join the trading group. Right now on another screen, I'm posting this to the trading group. Telling them to pay attention. There's a dangle. There's a dangler there. He dangles it. He dangles the info. And be careful, there could be a stop hunt going on. Altcoins are still very high risk, meaning the odds of them getting stopped out are high. We don't have enough. If enough people trade enough altcoins, they can't go after every altcoin. The setups start to play out. When less people trade altcoins, there's less people out there. It makes us sit in ducks. You have to understand, trading is as simple as that. How many people are out there compared to how many people are usually out there? If you think about it and you're like, you know what? There's less people trading than normal. Like Saturday morning on Christmas morning. You think there's, in a 24/7 Bitcoin market, you think everyone's trading? No. Like we can all assume that's going to be a pretty good day to get liquidated. You see what I'm saying? Let's take a look at Hype. Hype had a good run for a while. It's been quiet. You'd think the run would come back. I like that NQ right now. And again, and we're all waiting on, is the war, is not the war. You know what I mean? It's kind of ridiculous. All right, so whenever I look at a coin, I look at the bigger time frames and whittle down. No matter how, what I think of it or whatever. So look, beautiful previous resistance, which became support with the bounce right there at 53. Resistance at 72. So we know we kind of have support around the 50s. We have some resistance around the 70s. And we're finding our way. The weekly's a little far from the 21, but not too bad. 5 days got a little bit of bear div, not amazing. 3-day has some bearish divergence too, telling us to be careful. Let's bring up that RSI. Yeah, the RSI swings down while price swung up. A little far from the 21. A little higher there. Support of resistance now looks like it's at 60. And here's the daily. So you were looking for see if the daily can bounce off this 21 or dump. So you want to see if this trend line can hold. So this trend line's beautiful. If the trend line holds, then in 2 days from now, you get it, there's a long. If it doesn't, you don't long it, Only difference between my strategy is it's more apt of, more long bias than short bias. Everyone else they're shorting now with the stop loss above. They're getting to the short right now thinking this is going to double top back down to the 21, which it very well may. I would only long if it bounces and goes sideways. So this doesn't say long. See, that's why this could throw people off because they came to my channel or even saw it on my trading group and they don't understand. Like, oh, he's telling you to long hyperliquid. No. I'm telling you, if we bounce off the trend line and we go up and down, then I would long it. But I want to see what the numbers would be if I did long it. I want to kind of get some type of idea. And if it does pump, then I'll be the one to get a chance on it. And what I do is I put an alert here and I walk away. Once you assess a chart, you shouldn't have to go back to it till that next alert hits. Each alert should be the next section of movement. So each time it does it, you learn something. And you go from there. Hey, I'm just waiting on consolidation. And again, this takes time. And the better you get at the 1 hour consolidation, the better you get at waiting on it. Like, yeah, I don't mind waiting 16 to 17, 18 hours. I don't mind waiting 15 hours. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. You wait the time till you get it in, 68,183 there for BTC. So just got to stay above that 200. Otherwise, we're coming back down here. You can see where we're going to go. If this fails, we make the right shoulder. We'll lose the 15-minute 200. We'll lose the 200 here. We're going to drop down to here. 63,180. You can just tell. That's where we're going to go. I can see both ways. I'm going to trade it if it gives me the pathway of continuation. The math will give me a continuation pattern that I can trade. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to force it if it's not there, though. That's the key to trading, is to taking what the probability gives you, not what you want to see. Yeah, I want to look at the mirror, and thanks, and thank that person deeply, deeply, not just for financial advice, but life. Best group. God bless you, man. Thank you, man. Look at the mirror. Yes, I wanted you to look at the mirror, and thanks. Thank that person deeply, not just for finding, but for life. You're funny, man. Thank you. God bless you, bro. I'm like, what coin is called the mirror? That's how my brain is. It's like, it's not even like, it doesn't think in people terms. It thinks in like coin. Hey, man, thank you so much. Shout out to the Dirty Skirts, bro. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Very nice of you. And all the people that give to this channel, you don't have to, but you do. That will come back to you tenfold. If you want to fund yourself, and, you think you got what it takes and you want to fund yourself, like this pump here that kind of put up a lot of these little coins, could have made some gains on the pump with Bitcoin funding, jump into Bitfunded. All right, they're there. They have payouts, and you can learn how to, make some money on the side by using their money. Go to bitfunded.com. Use the link we have in the description to find out more. And yeah, and I expect a little pump here off the 200 moving average. Point out how many times I've ended the show with this song. It's like these show ending song. Just seems like it just happened that way today with the way everything went. All right, let's take a look at SpaceX. Someone asked about. We'll look at it on the NASDAQ. SpaceX in trouble, back to 167. Bit of a dump. I mean, people are going to take advantage of the sell-off. Will it go lower than the initial price? I know it's hard to tell, right? You don't get a lot of information on it. Almost looks better when you look at it on the... what you have to do is you have to use the smallest time frame you can, and you have to respect the 200 moving average. When you got above the 200, we went on a run. When you lost the 200, we started to drop. When we played here, we went on a shoulder, head and shoulder, made a decenter. And, it actually, to me, looks like it may get... Right now, it's got more selling pressure than buying pressure. Looks like it's going down to 150. You know what I mean? Then it will figure itself out. If it can get back above the 200, you look for it to bounce. Then you look for it to bounce off this support of resistance there off 180. It's not easy to play these newer coins. This is how you have to do it. It does look like it could come down to 149, though. SpaceX, struggling a little bit. Funny, Space ID had a little pump. No connection there. Nice little flag, though. that one might, I'm all about that 200. See, SPCX below the 200 on the only time frame you can put it on. Not in an uptrend, right? Struggling to find its way. Interesting. Last thing I'll look at here is BTC. Again, I just want to see it bounce off the 200 here on the 1 hour time frame as we start a new candle at 12 o'clock. And I'll update my trading group as this goes. If this starts to make a beautiful flag, I'm in there, and I'm going to show you exactly when I'm in and how. So you can understand how I trade. If I don't make a trade, I'll say I'm not making a trade. And I kind of coach you through the day. If you like that, go to cryptolifer.com. I'm there every single day, folks. May God bless everybody here on the channel. Thank you so much for an amazing Monday stream. Suited up, ready to rock. I appreciate you all for being here. May God bless each and every one of you for sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. I appreciate it. Thank you to anyone that clicks on any links, goes to cryptolifer.com, looks at BOOKMAP, whatever you do, I appreciate it. Everyone, thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow for another amazing, awesome live stream from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., Monday through Friday, and Saturday and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. I greatly appreciate your viewership, and I'll see you tomorrow. Remember, the secret to success is getting started.